The Harmony of Wealth, Happiness, and Success. Chapter 6. The Law of Give and Take. A year of quiet fulfillment. The year 2021 arrived gently, like a calm after a long storm. The chaos of the pandemic had begun to settle, and though uncertainty still hovered over the world, there was also a sense of collective awakening, a silent understanding that life was more fragile, more sacred than we had ever realized. That year, my third son got married. It was not a grandeur of the wedding that stayed in my heart, but the quiet completeness that followed, as if one missing piece of light had finally found its place. I didn't see it merely as a personal blessing, but as another reflection of the eternal rhythm of giving and receiving, a rhythm that underlies every relationship, every success, and every breath we take. The joy I felt wasn't just for him, it was the joy of seeing a cycle fulfilled, the years of nurturing, guiding, forgiving, and loving all returning in the form of peace. In that moment, I realized how deeply this law governs our lives. Whatever we release in love, whether it's care, time, or sacrifice, returns to us not always from the same direction, but always multiplied. The law that moves the universe. There is a hidden order behind everything, from the stars that exchange light with the darkness, to the ocean that gives vapor to the sky and receives rain in return. Everything in the universe operates through balance, circulation, and exchange. Nothing lives in isolation. Nothing is meant to only take or only give. The same law that moves galaxies also moves human life. When you give, whether it's love, energy, wisdom, or forgiveness, you create motion. You keep the universe alive within you. When you take with gratitude and humility, you allow the motion to complete itself. The flow continues and abundance grows. But when you stop the flow by withholding love, clinging to resentment, or giving with expectation, life begins to stagnate. The energy of abundance cannot stay in a closed hand. That is why giving must come from freedom, not from obligation, and receiving must come from humility, not from guilt. Giving without expectation. When my children were young, I gave them everything I had: time, effort, care, sleepless nights, tears, and prayers. In that stage of life, I didn't understand I was practicing the law of give and take. I simply acted out of love, not knowing that my selfless acts were setting unseen forces in motion. Now, decades later, I begin to reap what I had sown, not in material gifts, but in harmony, the joy of watching my sons become responsible men, the comfort of seeing them build their own families, the laughter of my grandchildren. There were the invisible returns of the love I once gave freely. The universe does not pay us back in the same currency we give. We give time and it returns peace. We give compassion, and it returns understanding. We give forgiveness, and it returns freedom. This is why the purest giving asks for no reward. The heart that gives without keeping score becomes a vessel of miracles. The circle of life and love. When my third son married, I felt again the circle of life turning, not at a loss but a continuation. A mother gives, a son receives, then he gives to another, and together they will give to the next generation. Nothing is truly lost in this exchange. Love simply changed form, moving from one vessel to another. I used to believe that giving meant losing, that every sacrifice required something to be taken from me. But through the years, I learned the opposite. Every true gift expands the giver. The more you release, the more life flows through you. It's the same with forgiveness, patience, or trust. They cost something at first, pride, time, energy, but what returns in is peace, the highest wealth of all. When love learns to let go is the most challenging form of giving. As a mother, I had to learn this truth repeatedly. Loved ones to protect, to hold, to guide, yet growth demands space. To release someone to love into their own destiny is not abandonment, it is faith. When I saw my son ready for marriage, I knew it was time to trust the life that was unfolding for him. My role has shifted. I was no longer the center of his care, but that was as it should be. The same law that had once required me to give now requires me to let go. Life does not stand still. It keeps teaching us how to circulate love in new forms. To the young, we give guidance. To our peers, we give understanding. To our elders, we give gratitude. And to ourselves, we must also learn to give rest. Giving is not always about doing. Sometimes it means stepping back so others can grow. The generosity of the universe. In 2021, the abundance surrounding my life became clearer than ever. My family was healthy, love was present, and peace had quietly taken root in our home. These blessings were not accidents. They were the reflections of what we had been releasing for years: consistency, kindness, care, and faith. I saw that the universe never forgets a generous heart. The kindness we extend today creates ripples that return in unexpected ways. Sometimes through the people we help, sometimes through strangers, sometimes through moments of grace that arrive when we least deserve them. To live abundantly is not to hoard, it is to trust that giving will not leave you empty. When you open your hand, you create space for more to flow in. Many people block abundance because they live in fear, afraid to give, afraid to lose, afraid to trust. But generosity is not about having much. It's about knowing there is always more to come. The river never fears to release its water to the sea because it knows rain will fill it again. So it is with love. It's with kindness, with wealth, and with time. We lose nothing by giving. We lose everything by holding back. The hidden side of taking. We often misunderstand the word take. To take with greed breaks the balance, but to take with gratitude completes it. As I grew older, I realized I had spent most of my life giving to my children, my husband, my writing, and my readers. It was fulfilling, yet there came a moment when I needed to learn the other half of the law, how to receive. When my grandchildren show me affection, I learn to accept it fully without thinking I needed to deserve it. When readers send messages of gratitude, I learn to say thank you without deflecting praise. When life gives me quiet mornings, I receive them as sacred gifts instead of distractions. To receive well is to honor the giver, to tell the universe, I am open to your blessings. And in that openness, life continues to pour abundance. Many people cannot receive because they carry guilt. They believe that taking is selfish, but closed heart blocks both giving and receiving. To stay in flow, we must learn both. The tree does not apologize for absorbing sunlight. It receives so it can give shade and fruit. Likewise, when we receive love, inspiration, or help, we are being prepared to pass it on. The spiritual currency of life, money, love, attention, creativity, these are all forms of energy, and like any energy, they must move. If you hold too tightly, they grow stale. If you circulate them with trust, they expand. In my writing life, I've seen this law manifest beautifully when I began writing from a place of giving, not trying to prove anything, not seeking fame. My words began to reach further. People from different places resonated with my stories. Their gratitude returned to me in letters, in friendships, in inspiration to keep writing. That is how spiritual currency works. The more you share from the heart, the more the universe amplifies your reach. You give meaning, you will receive purpose. You give your story, you will receive a connection. You give your truth, you will receive freedom. This is why giving cannot be forced or fake. The universe recognizes that vibration behind your actions. If you give out of fear or expectation, it returns confusion. If you give out of love, it returns miracles. Lessons from nature. Everywhere in nature, the law of give and take is alive. The soil gives nourishment to plants, the plants give oxygen to the air, the ocean gives moisture to the clouds, and the clouds give rain to the land. Even the human body survives through exchange, inhaling oxygen, exhaling carbon dioxide, circulating blood and energy continuously. Nature never keeps score. It gives because that is its way of being. When the tree releases its leaves, it is not afraid. It trusts that new ones will come in spring. The same truth applies to our emotional and spiritual lives. If we cling to own pain, grudges, or possessions, we block the natural flow of renewal. But when we release through forgiveness, generosity, and trust, we allow life to restore us. We do not create abundance by possessing, we create it by participating in the flow of giving and receiving. The generational river. As I watch my sons begin their own families, I realize that giving flows across generations. The love I gave to them now become the love they give to their wives and children. And through that exchange, my influence continues even without my presence. We think we live for ourselves, but in truth, we are onlings in change of living. What we sow in our time becomes the inheritance of the next. Every act of kindness extends beyond its moment. When we teach compassion, we shape the moral strength of those who follow. When we forgive, we lighten the emotional weight of future generations. When we give love, we multiply peace in the family's DNA. This understanding brought me a quiet joy. I no longer needed to chase legacy. I was already living it through the love I had given. The balance between giving and being. There's time to give and there's a time to simply be. In earlier years, I gave out of necessity to raise children, to support dreams, to survive. But 2021 reminded me that true giving is not struggle, it is flow. It happens naturally when the soul is peaceful. Sometimes the greatest gift we can offer is present, just to sit, to listen, to understand, to be kind without agenda. I learned that in moments with my grandchildren, they didn't need explanations or advice, they needed presence, and that simple attention was already a gift. When we give from fullness, our energy multiplies. When we give from emptiness, we deplete ourselves. Thus, to sustain the law of give and take, we must also nurture our inner abundance through silence, gratitude, and spiritual connection. That is how giver stays alive. The invisible record. Many times giving seems unnoticed. You may pour your heart into someone who doesn't appreciate it. You might offer kindness that met with silence, but the universe records everything, not in words but in vibration. No act of love is wasted. Every sincere gesture joins the invisible network of goodness that supports the balance of the world. In 2021, I experienced several quiet blessings that reminded me of this truth. Unexpected opportunities heal relationships, peaceful days without drama. None of them arrived by accident. They were the echoes of long forgotten kindnesses. We may not remember what we gave, but the universe does. That is why we must give cheerfully, even when unseen, for in due season everything returns. Living as a channel of blessings. To live according to the law of give and take is to become a channel, a bridge through which love, abundance, and wisdom flow. You don't need to own these things, you simply allow them to move through you. When you love, you become love. When you forgive, you become free. When you bless others, you become a blessing itself. That is why the truly rich are not those who collect, but those who circulate joy, peace, ideas, and goodwill. The law of give and take teaches us that life is never static. Every thought, word, and action sends out energy, and that energy returns shaped in our intention. If we give resentment, we receive bitterness. If we give gratitude, we receive joy. If we give faith, we receive miracles. And so, the secret to meaningful life is simple: give from love and receive with grace. Reflection. Looking back, I see my entire journey as a mother, a grandmother, wife, and a writer. One long lesson in this sacred law: to give what I once longed for, to receive what I once feared I didn't deserve, to trust that whatever leads me in kindness will return, magnify, and purify. This law is not philosophy alone. This is the heartbeat of existence, the breath of life itself in the rhythm of give and take. Inhale and exhale, giving and receiving. The moment one stops, life ends. Therefore, to live abundantly is to live in flow, to keep love moving through you. Life lessons. The universe runs on exchange. When you give without counting, life gives back beyond measure. Whatever you release in kindness returns multiplied. Give your time, give your patience, give your forgiveness, and the universe will return them in peace, joy, and grace, far beyond what you imagine. Thank you so much, and I hope you click like and subscribe to my channel for the next chapter.